I wanted to actually make sure that we start off at the very beginning. Um, if you look on my profile, you can see the links to a free book that we're going to give out, a free ebook. I wanted to add that link to here today just to make sure everyone gets it. I'm going to put it in the chat box first thing. So make sure everybody gets a copy of this. You can also find it on the profile. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to just give you guys an opportunity to just talk about what we're doing and think about what we're about to say. So, one of the things is I wanted to congratulate everyone that's on this call, everyone that's talking on this video. We've been through a tough time. This has been a year. I was looking at this last year when we got to come to TASB. Last year it was in a beautiful hotel in downtown San Antonio. We had the high rise, had a nice room on the side. It was just great, just being around all the beautiful faces and just learning from each other in person. It was a remarkable experience. And just experiencing now over the past 2 days, I can't imagine, a better group of people that could create such a conference that can just go so fluid and work such a magic, because it has to be this group, us black educators in the state of Texas doing the things that make things happen like this, actually being able to communicate through WOVA and have us to be able to find ways to enhance everyone's education throughout the state of Texas. So, congratulations again to everyone. This is an opportunity. I have never thought that, we could actually be able to do a conference like this via internet, and I'm loving it right now. This is the best thing that I think we can do as far as safety for ourselves and safety for the people around us. So, an adjustment over this time, I just want to congratulate everybody. Being a part of TASB, being a part of this organization, I'm actually very proud to say that I'm a part of TASB and a part of what is going on at this group, and just trying to make things better for what we're doing in this, just for the state of Texas in general. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about today are going to be, mostly general classroom center, but a lot of the things that we're doing is going to be clean classroom center, school centered, even district wide, because what we're trying to do is change the scope, change the way we do things. And so the keys to creating a winning classroom. So I'm going to share right here. Make sure I'm sharing it right. So, creating the winning classroom. So we have everyone here, all these hands raised up, looking high and to the sky, and they're talking about winning that trophy. Everyone should be focused on doing the one thing that we can do best in any situation is winning. And one of the reasons I chose the word winning is because that is the only thing that you could possibly do. And that is the only thing that you should be able to instill in your students, instill in your classroom, instill in your team, instill in your school. Everything has to be centered around winning and making sure that we're going to be in that positive, forward-thinking mindset. So one thing that I do with all of my students and all of my classes, as far as creating that growth mindset and switching from that fixed mindset to that growth mindset, it's important to switch those negative thoughts that we normally have. And I think we all agree that we have maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000 thoughts a day, and 70% of those thoughts are negative. But we want to flip that. We want to flip those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. So we want to change that by giving ourselves positive affirmations. So if you want to come off of mute and say these with me, or if you want to talk to these and that, we're going to go talk to them together. But we want to invigorate ourselves. We want to say these things together. And these are what I do with my future teachers in order to make sure that they're ready and capable of fixing their mindset to a growth mindset. So we can say this together. I am a person of high integrity and sincere purpose. I am a competent and capable teacher. I treat myself and my students with kindness and respect.
I treat myself and my students with kindness and respect.
I am becoming a better teacher each and every day.
I am becoming a better teacher each and every day.
And I love saying that with my teachers, because we have to always look to improve each and every day. I know even as a teacher, and all y'all could relate on this call, is that even as a high school teacher, from first period to eighth period, I knew I was going to be a better teacher by eighth period. So we could look to that because we have that same topic. We could look to that growth each and every day, and we have to make that a dedicated. We have to make sure that we're doing that and growing each and every day. The next one is, I am making a difference in my students' lives.
I am making a difference in my students' lives.
Thank you. The work I do matters.
The work I do matter.
I motivate my students.
I motivate my students.
I empower my students.
I empower my students.
And I believe in myself.
I believe
in myself and my abilities.
And my ability.
I believe in myself and my abilities. I love to say this one because it's honestly the most truthful thing that's going to get that great teacher to being teacher of the year, to being the future principal, to being the one that's going to change the world, because your abilities and believing in yourself and removing all self-doubt is ultimately what's going to be able to transfer that energy from yourself to your students. They see that belief in yourself. When the teacher has that belief, then they're going to believe in themselves as well. So we're looking for that transfer, that equal transfer between the two of us. And then we say this again: I am peaceful and calm and ready for each and every challenge.
I'm peaceful and calm and ready for each and every challenge.
That's beautiful. Now that just makes sense as far as a teacher, because what do we see every single day? We see there might be a fight down the hall. There might be kids arguing. There might be teachers that are upset with each other. There might be a big test coming up. You have to be peaceful. You have to set the example for peace. You have to set the example for calm. You have to be ready for the challenges, because what do we have to be as a leader? We have to set the example for our students in any situation. If we can have a small example. Whenever there's a fire drill or a drill on campus, the teacher can't be talking as though that servant leadership style, that servant attitude, because I saw my parents dedicated to service their entire life. I saw my dad dedicated to working in the military his entire life. I saw my mom as a math teacher and a counselor. So I had to emulate them. I wanted to be like them. And so when you see what we had going on for the past 13 years of my life, you'll see that more and more and more, we can't get away from what, you do as a living. So a little background from what I'm said is that coming up with them, ended up moving around, as a military child. We moved to Germany, moved back to Louisiana, moved back to Texas, ended up in Fort Hood, Texas. And I ended up going to the University of Texas and graduating from there and with a mathematics degree. And I went on to teaching at Langham Creek High School in Cy-Fair ISD for 6 years. I taught Algebra 1. Is anybody on here from Cy-Fair? I feel like one of my friends said he was going to come in here. He said he's from Cy-Fair ISD. What school districts are we all from here on this call? If y'all don't mind, just type them in the chat box if y'all don't mind. I want to see where we are. Are we from Texas? Where are we from on here? Where are we representing? Fort Worth ISD, okay. Fort Bend, okay. That's very good. All right, Fort Bend, Dallas, Texas. Metroplex, sorry. The Metroplex and down south. So Fort Bend, I know a lot about Fort Bend. We're working at Cy-Fair. I think our main rival was Hightower. They used to beat us up all the time at Langham Creek. But I used to have fun over there. But it's good to see y'all. So Just a little background about myself. Coming from Cy-Fair ISD, I went on to be an assistant principal in Killeen ISD, where I got the opportunity to work as an assistant principal at the alternative school there for several years, and then Arca Heights High School. Then I went on to be a high school principal at West Oso High School in Corpus Christi, and then I went on to be a principal in Kuwait, Middle East, and then I came back, and now I am a professor, assistant professor at Grambling State University. And one of the reasons I chose to go to Grambling State University. Now, if you look at the very beginning, I know we don't see it. It says, I used to hate school, 5 proven principles for success in education. And one thing, when I started to work on my PhD, work on my doctorate, the key thing was that they told us to choose a topic. They told us to choose an item that we thought was most pressing for us to visit. And what do we want to change in education? And one of the things I started researching was the school-to-prison pipeline. And my whole dissertation was based off of ending the school-to-prison pipeline. If we don't understand what the school-to-prison pipeline, I can just look at my audience right now. I know who I'm looking at. The school-to-prison pipeline is what ultimately plagues our campuses. Because if we're kicking our students out for minor behaviors, if we're expelling them, we're suspending them, these are students that could potentially be the next Barack Obama. These are students that could be the next, Hillary Clinton could be the next Kamala Harris. These are the people that can change the world. And if we're kicking them out of school, that's going to impact their lives ultimately negatively. Because we know that the more we remove students from school, the higher chance they have of becoming expelled, the higher chance they have becoming going out into the streets and going and entering the criminal justice system. So what we need to do as a whole is to end the school-to-prison pipeline. Well, all of the reasons that I saw that we could do to possibly end the school-to-prison pipeline, for one, was implement positive behavior supports in campuses everywhere, all over the world, because positive behavior, we all know that positive reinforcement helps everyone. Then there was also restorative justice practices. That just serves as alternate to suspension, making sure that we're not kicking our students out and that we're allowing them to come back and have those behaviors addressed while we're doing that. And we're not going to go too much into detail about restorative practices, but that is another way. But the third way was to increase the number of African American men or male teachers, and this is research based. Increase the number of African American male teachers that are in the classroom. So one of the initiatives that we have at Grambling is the Black Male Teacher Initiative, and so we want to make sure that we're bringing more African American men into the teacher. So if you know any, this is just a plug for Grambling, and I love Grambling. And I know it's one of my places I'm at now, and so what we want to do is we want to make sure we're increasing them. So if you know any young men or young women that want to be in part of Grambling and want to be a part of a teaching program, they're not sure if they want to teach, we're going to make sure they get in there and get teaching and certified and get out there and put wheels on the floor so we can make sure that we're moving forward and ending this school-to-prison pipeline, because that is an absolute way to end that. If we have more people in there that are thinking about what we are as personal backgrounds, the culture of humans, and in that place, is going to definitely make a difference to that. And so also, just wanted to kind of, that's a little background about what I do and what I'm doing. And all of these things are based off of my core beliefs. So the reason that I talk about I used to hate school is based off of the core beliefs that I have and that I've grown just from me growing up with my beautiful mom and my loving dad. I don't say my beautiful dad, but he's not ugly, but he's pretty good looking too. But anyways, we say these things because I believe these things are true within my whole heart. So the first thing is my core beliefs is I believe that there is genius in every student. Now, what is genius? Like, not saying that every student's a genius, but we're talking about every student has a gift. Every student has a talent. Everyone has something that they are good at. So I believe that there is genius in every student. I also believe that there is greatness in every staff. Now, what does that mean? That means that as a leader, my job is to find and increase the capacity of my teachers. So I have to discover what the greatness is. And there's greatness in every staff. There's greatness in every team. You can see this in examples, and you always use the sports examples as well. Whenever you have a sports team, let's say the Lakers, you know that there's somebody has to be great on the Lakers. You know, there's going to be somebody that's going to stand out. There's always going to be a Michael Phelps. There's always going to be a Michael Jordan. There's always going to be a superstar that's going to stand out. But there's also those other pieces that come together to make that team great. So what we focus on is finding and creating that greatness in every staff. Then we also have my third belief. And this comes from me just growing up and knowing and being able to do a myriad of things. I believe that there is joy in every subject. Now, why do I believe that there's joy in every subject? But look at what we do. We find ways to make things popular. We find ways to make things relevant. We might find ways to make things happy. So the joy in every subject. And one of the ways I like to find joy, the simple ways, music. Music is one easy path to joy in everything we do. When you could put that music to everything you do in your class. We've all done this. I remember as algebra teacher, we make up raps for our school or class. We do dances for different organizations. We make sure that we're hype before our basketball games. But that's one thing to do, is that even if you have Algebra 1, which is probably one of the most boring subjects that I've been told that you could take in class. I didn't think it was too boring. But one of the things that we make sure we're doing is that whenever we have a subject, you find the joy in that subject. So what we're talking about today in creating the winning classroom, okay, is utilizing those beliefs that we have found and instilling those beliefs into your students. And we all talk about this. Well, what we can do, we need to transfer energy. We need to transfer our knowledge. We want to always, anytime that we talk as a teacher, it's a transfer. It's a transfer of knowledge. It's a transfer of energy. It's a transfer of information. So we want to be able to create students that are thinking and liking and doing what we are doing. So, not sure why. So if you look and you take a look at my book, I Used to Hate School, there was 5 principles, okay? 5 key things that are taken away from this that are going to improve your classroom. The first thing, and I need someone to type this in the chat box. First one is relationships. Someone type in relationships into the chat box. Relationships are what drives the classroom and what tells you what the students' relationships. And the next one is RTI. If you type RTI in the chat box, RTI is very important. RTI is what we do that's going to reach those students that don't get it. RTI is what we do for when our students don't understand. And that's just a simple thing. So we have to understand that even after we go through our whole lesson cycle and we taught our students, we make sure that what are we putting in place? What are the interventions that we're putting in place to make sure our students are all going to be successful? The third principle is rigor with love. Now understand that rigor means meeting and setting high expectations for all students and making sure that all of your students meet those expectations. Now the expectations may be different but if you want to understand, with rigor, there has to be an objection to any sort of failure. You have to stick with the subject, you have to stick with the topic, and you have to push the content until your students understand and students master it. That love has to be shown on a regular basis. Like if you're in a band, for example, there's ultimate example of rigor is in the band. When you have a musician, a band director, they start playing, they want to go perform at a halftime show. They don't stop until you don't get the right place. They start at everyone's level. Some people can't play too high, some people can't play low. You got first trumpet, second trumpet, third trumpet. You have all different levels of being able to get a certain product done. So we have to understand with rigor is everybody has that same expectation. Everybody's going to get that championship trophy. but we all have to set high expectations and push towards them. The fourth one is leadership. Leadership with love. Making sure that we are setting the example, making sure that we're pushing our students forward and showing those things, those leadership qualities, and getting involved on your campuses. Making sure that everyone understands that we're moving forward as a unit. And that leadership is setting the vision, right? Setting the vision, setting the tone, and following the tone and making sure everybody moves forward together. So leadership is the last one. The next one, the last one is going to be, and I always forget the last one, I don't know why. Relationships is the first one. RTI, leadership, rigor, and then we have, here we go, we got somebody coming in here. Maybe I shouldn't have 5 all the time, but reflection. And I said that at the beginning, reflection. Reflection with love is absolutely the 5th principle, because if you look at what we do as teachers, we have to want to grow each and every day. So we have to be reflective. We have to start thinking about how we teach, what we teach, and how we can grow as him. I guarantee you, I could do this presentation 1,000 times, but I reflect on each time how I do and how I can improve every single time. And it gets better and better based off of what we do. So those 5 principles, and you can check these out in the book. They're outlined in detail in this book about how to improve and become that educator. Not the educator that just is a teacher that goes in and runs the mill of the run. But I'm talking about those teachers that are MVP teachers, teachers of the year, excellent principals, the ones that want to make a difference, want to be the ones that are going to change the way the entire campus, those teachers that impact the entire campus. If those are the ones that want to do that, this is the book for them. So all of those relationships, all of those things what we talk about with the I used to hate school is the whole reason. The whole reason we talk about this is because what do we know about schools? We know that things are tough. We know that right now kids are walking around with masks. Teachers are walking around with masks. Everybody's avoiding each other. Some schools are open. Some people are distance learning. Some people are away from learning. Some people are going out of the way. But what I always talk about when I say I used to hate school, it's a movement. It's a movement because it's talking about we believe that every student could love school, love someone at school, or love something about school. So when we talk about I used to hate school, it's a reverse thought. Because at one point, yes, it was a terrible situation, but now we could change schools. We could transfer from where we have been with the industrialized, straight roads, not making sure everyone's excelling, making sure you have to do better or do bad, where we're going to work, where everything that we do with our students is implemented 100% with love. Everything. Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to change and find that, and for them to be able to transfer that onto other individuals. So I don't know if everyone has already gotten this, but this is the book that's available on Amazon. The link is in the chat box, and I also have the link on my profile. I could also put that up there for everyone else as well. Let me see. I think I might have got changed to where I could share my screen. I'm trying to make sure I can do that, but I definitely can't do that right now. So we're going to keep going. So one of the things that is important when we believe and we try to implement all these in for our students and our teachers is changing that mindset. So changing from that growth mindset, from that fixed mindset to the growth mindset. So if you look at the ebook that we posted on here, it's going to give you top 15 ways. Now this is important because we talked about in engaging our students and making sure the students are moving towards and from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Well, these are the top 15 ways that you can motivate the underachieving student. Those students that don't necessarily take it to that next level. The ones that can be top-notch straight A students that could be the ones in the front of the classroom, student council presidents, or even just say they're making a D and you want to get them to a B, or if you want to get a failing student into starting to just do better. These are the ways that you do it, and there's the top 15 ways, and I would assure you that this is going to be transformative for any teacher on your campus, because those principles that you do can be utilized with everything. They can be utilized to implement, motivate people that are on your staff, if we're a principal, motivate people that are in your building as well. So take advantage of this opportunity, and I wanted to go ahead and talk. Make sure you get a chance to check out this book. If you go to my website, also we have Pieces, PLLC, and I'll place that one in the chat box here as well. Pieces is the organization where we utilize, and we're coming through it with a 3-pronged practice that's going to be able to transform the way schools are run. It's called Peaceful Practices. And if you go check out our website, you'll understand what we're doing. We're engaging our students with these 3 principles: relationships, learning, and accountability. And we're bringing our entire school through those 3 principles, through those 3-tiered approach, to where we improve in those 3 areas to bring peace and positivity to your campuses. So Positive Interventions is focused, dedicated to that. You get an opportunity to check that out. Make sure you do follow www.pieces. I left the S off on her. Dr. Jones, if you could type that in there for me. That correct. Dr. Jones, Lindy Jones is my colleague as well. One thing that I did not mention, Dr. Lindy Jones is a part of Pieces PLC LLC with me. She's not on a video right now, but what we do is we do workshops, we do virtual presentations just like this. All of these are going to be centered around motivating your students, going to be centered around transforming your campuses and making sure that everyone is on the right track as far as working towards transforming schools. And so, are there any questions that you all might have for me? So I hope that this was helpful today. I definitely appreciate everyone for coming into the session today. If you get a chance, grab a copy of this book on Amazon. I Used to Hate School, 5 Proven Principles for Success in Education. If you do email me or you contact me, I will send you if you do it directly from me, I can send you a signed copy of the book. It's been a bestseller on Amazon as well. And if you want to add me, all my social media links are on the profile. But if you add me on any of the social media, it's Dr. Harrison Jones IV. I'll type in this. This is I like TikTok the best because I've watched TikTok a lot, and I understand we could definitely change the scope and way of education. If you look at all of the programs or the technological social media right now, everything's changing to short videos format, 7 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. We have to start looking at that as educators. Why are all the mediums that are being used to give us information chopping into shorter bits? Are we still utilizing a 45-minute classroom to the best of our ability? Or do we even need that as much anymore? So we got to start thinking about things like that as well. So you could add me on TikTok, Dr. Harrison Jones IV. You could add me on Instagram at Dr. Harrison Jones IV with that's the Instagram link. Definitely add me on LinkedIn, Dr. Harrison Jones, to get more information, more videos, more documents like this. And same tag for Twitter. This is Dr. Harrison Jones 1. That's my Twitter tag. And Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All of those, add me on all 5. I definitely add back. I'm actually very appreciative of everyone that's coming in from. I've seen Fort Bend, ISD. I see we had Fort Worth ISD also, so definitely excited for everyone to be a part of what we're doing. We definitely have, if you feel like this was helpful or things that we could do to help and do things for your campus, Health Sheldon ISD. That's right a little bit north of Houston, right? Um, we could also work together to do that. If you want to contact me, we'll do a consultation to do what pains the organization. I'm definitely looking forward to making changes and big changes this upcoming year. We have a lot to look forward to. This pandemic is not ending anytime soon, even though we have vaccinations and all those things. But I know what we can do to make this work. I know what we can do to make this work. So let me know. Hit me up. Enjoy the rest of the presentation, the rest of the program. Thank you very much, Tina Williams. Look forward to hearing from you. All right. And I hope that y'all have a beautiful day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Jones, I was trying to see if you wanted me to share your screen. I was going to
I
see, but
know.
I think they didn't give you,
They didn't give
they
me
must have
permission.
everything up, huh?
They didn't give me permission to share a screen on here. So
I saw that.
yeah,
That's wild.
yeah,
Maybe you could just have the presentation available if they come to your website or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. It was. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I hate that they didn't do that. Yeah, we'll have to, I'll process to let them know.
Yeah, we
Okay, but
good.
it was great. So,
All right, appreciate
I'll
it.
talk to you later. I
All right,
tried to get in parents for a minute,
all
but
right,
it's going pretty smooth. It was
all right.
great.
Thanks, Mom. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, bye bye.